So thank you so much for joining me on Life by Design today. So excited to invite you onto the podcast. Was obviously you're a new Accelerator. You've just recently joined the Six Figure Freedom Accelerator.
Yay!
And I know that your journey getting to that point of decision was, you went through a lot of emotions, and it was a big decision for you to take that leap and join. And I know that there's so many ladies that kind of sit on the fence and they see programs. They see the Six Figure Accelerator. It's something I've launched a few times before, and they know that they want to have a successful business, but they're really afraid to take that leap and invest in themselves. And just seeing your transformation in such a short period of time, both tangible and intangible, I just thought you'd be such an amazing lady to bring onto the podcast to interview, just to see what's possible for them too. So thank you so much for being here. So Sophia, would you like to just share with the audience a little bit about you and your business, because you've got the most amazing business, as we've just been talking about. So everyone would just love to find you online and hear more about it.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for having me. It's really an honor, and I never saw myself as a success story. So this is all new to me. So I'm fairy godmother meets unicorns meets geek or mad hatter of online business. And what I mean by that is I'm a web and graphic designer. I'm a developer. I'm a geek for marketing and human behavior. And I had to turn my life around and start my own business. And I found you. That really made me take the leap, and now I'm a success story. So that's amazing.
Yeah. And how long ago was it that you joined the Accelerator? Was it 5 or 6 weeks ago? I can't remember now.
6 weeks ago, I think.
Yeah. So you're like
6 weeks ago.
So 6 weeks into a 6-month program. Would you like to share with the audience what business owners you help, what exactly you do?
Oh, I help women who have had enough of fiddling around and getting frustrated over the visuals of their business, and that are ready to give that to a creative designer that will help them go from meh to just magic. I'll take care of workbooks and social media graphics. I'll just pick a business and do like an extreme makeover digital design edition and deliver it to my clients. And I work specifically with women because I was for 12 years, I was in corporate, and I had so many bad experiences being a woman and a developer. And lastly, after becoming a mom, it was horrible. I was bullied by my bosses. They actually told me that I had to choose between being a mother and a career woman. And I'm a super feminist. That's not what I want of my life. I want to have it all and be myself and just find a way to mix it all up and feel happy about my life. So I don't want anyone else to go through what I went through. And I had to start my business to do that, in order to do that, help women find their voice and use it and live life on their own terms.
Yeah, I'm so sorry you went through that. It's always like to turn, like you have turned something like that into a positive, and it gives us the drive to do something different, to make something incredible happen. And you were just sharing before we hit record that we were talking about what happens when we're falling asleep, and that's when the ideas come up and we remember things. And you shared a little bit then about that was almost like when you decided that it was time to start your business. Would you like to share a bit more with the audience about that?
Yeah, sure. So I've tried to start my own business several times during my life, and I wasn't very successful. But I learned something along the way. Each time I would learn something new. And when this was all happening, before this was all happening, I kind of postponed it. The last time I tried it, I postponed it because I wanted the safeness of the regular income by the end of the month. And then I got pregnant. And I was like, oh, it's a now or never kind of moment. But once again, I was like, okay, but it's safe and you have a kid now and you want to buy a house and banks want to loan you money if you don't have like a stable job. So maybe just postpone it a little bit. And then I got depressed and burned out. And because of all the situation at work, in one night, trying to fall asleep, feeling completely lost, I didn't want to imagine my future at that point because I was feeling so trapped in my own life that I just didn't want to imagine my future. And it was when it hit me that, okay, this has got to change, because I was always like this happy-go-lucky kind of girl, and sparkles and glitter and super geek. I would just like go into the shopping center and grab glasses and hats and just walk around with weird stuff in my head. So how did I went from that to this depressed, sad, crying all day, just holding on to my son like for dear life. I wouldn't do anything without him because he was the thing that really gave me some stability. So I couldn't sleep. I had to start like planning everything, but yeah, I had to start planning everything, but it wasn't immediate. And I knew it wouldn't be because of all my previous experiences. I knew that the way to go was really to establish relationships, and because I'm a people person, I'm super timid and introverted and everything, even if I just do crazy stuff at the shopping mall. I'm super timid. And I knew that I had to surround myself with great people, because previously I was trying all by myself and it didn't work, and I had to find my tribe. So that's when I joined FEA. In fact, I went to my company. I was working at home. I went to my company, like totally unexpected, like knocked on my boss's door, and he was so surprised to see me and, oh, what are you doing here? And I was like, you know what? I was thinking about what you said. And he spent like a whole year and a half telling me like almost every week that, so do you want to quit? Do you want to quit? Oh, wow. I was thinking about what you said, and I think it's not fair for either of us. So yeah, I want to quit.
Oh, wow.
I didn't tell anyone. I got into the car, called my partner, and was like, I did it. I called my therapist, and she was so happy, over the moon, like, I knew you would do this someday.
Amazing.
So I joined FEA the weekend, like right after that. I think it was a Tuesday. It was in Women's Day, in fact, that I went to
Oh, cool.
to my boss's office, and I joined FEA that weekend. I actually had to check my account I don't know how many times and make sure that nothing was going to be needed to be paid in the following days. And I really had like to gather all my little coins and join it, and started to enjoy that. I mean, I would overplan and overthink every single thing.
That's very, very common at the beginning of a business.
It is. And I wanted my website to be like super perfect right out of the first moment. And I didn't have like my ideal clients totally planned. I had some ideas. I had some ideas of services. I had some ideas of everything, but nothing really specific and detailed. So once again, I thought, okay, people person. So let's speak with business coaches and see what they need, because I had this, I wanted to niche down. Mm-hmm. And I thought that business coaches would be like the perfect fit. So I posted something about wanting to meet business coaches and just talk a bit. And that's when you answered me.
Connected, isn't it?
I read what you wrote, and I was like, oh, I don't want to speak with Claire, because if I speak with her, I know I'm going to buy whatever she's offering.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I knew it right out of the moment I read. Like, you sent me some testimonials and everything, and I was like, oh, no, I cannot. For me to really just click have a click that I was being a procrastinator, completely procrastinator. So I saw a post that you did regarding having like a clarity call, a small consultation. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, I know where I'm headed. But I told my mom, in fact, I asked my mom to take care of my son that day, so I could have like a quieter talk. And I told her, I'm going to talk with a business coach, and it's just to exchange and gather my thoughts. It's potential, she knows people, maybe. She knew.
She knew. So you realized you were procrastinating, and how was that showing up? Was that showing up as you literally like you said earlier, like you were like planning everything? Did that show up as, is that how procrastinating looked to you at the time, or was there something else that you were noticing?
I would find excuses for not doing the really important things. Okay. Like the things that actually mattered. I knew they actually mattered, but I would always find something, always. And I started like trying to work in mindset with my therapist. And it was when I realized that, I've been this fearful, scared little girl all my life. And to try and not face that fear, mm-hmm. I would jump into other subjects. So I would start working on my ideal client, for example, mm-hmm. and I would start to get like real fearful of not being enough or not being able to talk with that person because they were A, B, C, whatever. So I would get in fear mode and procrastinating mode, and I would research. My Chrome, it has like hundreds of tabs opened, and that's that's my brain on procrastination mode. So yeah, I would just start researching and planning, and then I would find something like step by step to do this, and this is interesting, and I will need this, so let me just like save this tab, and that's a new thing I don't know, let me research about that. yeah, completely.
So when you reached out and you booked that call with me, did you, I'm kind of getting a sense that you already knew that you were like, you wouldn't have booked the call unless you were like, right, I need to change something. So it kind of experiencing that procrastination, you realize, no, I've made the decision, my business has to be successful. it's not, did you kind of think like this isn't working out on my own? And that's what was the kind of the thing that made you think, right, I'm going to book the call?
I was going to always find some excuse or thing, and I had to have someone to guide me. I had all the pieces of the puzzle.
Yeah,
I knew the image the puzzle would be, and I had the pieces of the puzzle, but I didn't knew how to just like click everything together until it made like the result picture. I knew the steps, but I didn't knew I had to take a right foot first and then a left foot next, and I needed someone to help me take it step by step. And if I start to just like, oh, that's a shiny new thing I didn't knew about, he would call me out and focus.
we do that, don't we, with us? So
you have to focus.
Yeah, amazing. This is so cool, and I love that analogy you just shared, because that's so true for all my clients. Is not it, what tends to happen is we think we're missing something all the time, but we're not missing something. We've got all the pieces, we just need support, and like you said, to be guided to put those pieces together to make the end result, to make that final picture. So I love the way you just described that. So obviously you're inside the accelerator now, you've been inside for 6 weeks. How would you describe to the listeners, like what are your favorite pieces about the accelerator? What was it like for you when you came inside? What do you feel the community is like? Are you able to describe those things?
Yes, I think the word that describes the accelerator is really support. It's like the main umbrella word. It's support. Yeah. And the community is incredible. I met and I'm meeting, in fact, incredible women and inspiring women that have like such different stories, but in the end they really want the same thing. So it's incredible that in our core we're all searching for the same thing. And yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
And I really love the coaching calls. I think it's where you really extract all the good juice, because even if you don't have a question to ask you always end up learning something. And when I started to hear Ali going over her plans and you advising her, it just like my brain was like, whoop, wake up. You have things to talk about.
Yeah, and that's the kind of, I think one of the beauties about being in the accelerator is it's, when you're with other women that are on the similar path to you, they might be further ahead than you, that at different levels, everyone's at different stages. It's almost like you get elevated, aligned, and you're elevated and you align with their energy that just makes you step up for yourself. Not you personally, but that's what I noticed inside the accelerator. Is the women inside, you really, really kind of elevate each other.
Yeah, that's the beauty of masterminds.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly.
And it's actually what we kind of have in the accelerator. It's not directly a mastermind, but in fact it works like one. You have to surround yourself with people that are far ahead than you and that are smarter than you, and so you can match their level and learn from them. This happens in the accelerator. Yeah. And even if I consider myself like the least smart person in the room, I still have everyone still has like something to teach. I really love the celebrating thread on Friday, because you must celebrate like the little steps. You're so focused on the goal that you don't realize that you took some steps towards it, because you just see how long it will still take to get there, and you don't look back and see, I've walked a crazy amount of miles
Yeah,
already. So
exactly. So you took that decision. Your mum, you said to your mum, like, I'm having a chat with a business coach. You then, I think it was the same day, you messaged me and you said, right, I'm in. What was that like? Because you obviously had left your job. You didn't have the confidence yet that your business would make the money. You knew, you decided it would happen, but you didn't know how quickly it was going to happen. How did you, I mean, if you feel comfortable sharing, how did you get that payment together, and what was that like, kind of making that decision?
it was scary, scary as hell, because I didn't have the money. I think I didn't have anything except the will to really go forward and have my own business. I had just bought a house, an apartment that needs at least 20,000, yeah, 20,000 euros in in remodelation work, and we were actually trying to save some money for that. And since we had just made the payment for buying the house, so we were basically at zero. I'm not going to say zero, but basically that. I had made that decision to leave my job, and since they were not going forward with this and they actually started to be meaner, so I would quit and they don't have to pay anything. I was in a health, I don't know how you say it in English, but it's like a health pause. My grandma, yeah, my grandma had given me like 1,000 euros of her own savings for us to do some things in the house. And I was like, do you think grandma is going to be okay if I just like use half of it? And yeah, my dad was not on board at all. My partner was like, I don't know, you will need that money to, that maybe that's some window we're going to put some. Are you sure?
Yeah.
And my mom was like, no fear, go forward, no fear.
Wow, strong lady, your mum.
My dad was completely against it, and I think his biggest scare was he was always saying, but you don't have coaches in Portugal? You have coaches in Portugal, And I was like, yeah, but Claire has experience, and I clicked with her, and I really believe she's going to help me. She helped so many graphic designers, and I think she's the one, Dad. She's the one. Oh, and he was not into it.
Oh, bless.
But
that's amazing.
Yeah, so I took the money from my grandma's stash. I took the money. I went straight into the bank to make the deposit, and I messaged you, and I did the payment.
Yeah.
And after making the payment, I don't know what I was feeling. Actually, it was the pressure to really make do, and the fear of what have I done? This might be a window into my new house.
So I thought you said this might be a weirdo, like I might be a weirdo. You said this might be a window.
I was so scared all over the place. But yeah, I think the only focus from that moment on was, okay, I have to make 500 euros to pay the second. I have to make it to, I wasn't confident I was going to make the amount of money I made actually in the first weeks, because business takes time and you have to take it step by step, and I knew I had to do a bunch of things first, so I was not super confident I was going to make the return of the investment. I was just focused in paying the next monthly subscription. That was my sole focus. And it turns out
Yeah, what happened?
I
Do you remember the first few calls we had?
Yeah, so I was so afraid of owning my worth, in fact.
Yeah.
I was really afraid, and it amazes me that what we worked on the first weeks and of the accelerator was all about mindset. Because I had the experience and I had like the step by step and everything, but I would never go forward in finding clients if I didn't look at my mindset. And the first client the first lead that I got, I was so afraid of asking. I defined the price for the investment in my services, and then I was afraid of saying it.
Yeah, and I remember that's one of the things we worked on at the very beginning.
Yeah, because I think I was saying that, yeah, for the website, no, for the VIP day, my aim is to go like over 1,000 euros a day, because I have all this experience and so many hats. So
experienced.
It's your people are actually buying all my baggage.
Yeah, you may be a new business right now, but you're not a new graphic designer. You're not a new brand designer.
Exactly. Exactly.
And this is a mistake so many people make when they're new in their business. If it's not an even energy exchange, that's how I always summarize it. If it's not an even energy exchange, we tend to resent things. And then when we're in that energy of resentment, it's hard to grow the business, because it's almost like there's that kind of internal resistance. So I mean, nearly every single one of my clients triples their rates, or like, do you know what I mean? Because this work is so integral to growing a business. We have to feel like there's that even energy exchange.
Exactly. It really, it has been like, it's a journey of so much mindset journey for me. It's really learning that I have everything inside of me to make this work. I just need to actually face it, and you have the tools to make us face on the things that we need to face in order to shine bright.
Yeah, you're shining so bright at the moment. Like the transformation, just watching your journey in 6 weeks, you're flourishing like this most beautiful flower. So you decided on your rate. It was far more than you thought that you were going to charge. And then what would you like to share with the audience, like what happened there? We talked a little bit about strategy. We talked about how you were going to get those initial leads. So when you kind of started sharing that you had your offer available, how quickly was it from you starting to share that you had this offer available and somebody kind of coming forward?
2 weeks, not even that. I think it was like 2 weeks after, no, less than 2 weeks after I joined the accelerator, I started getting leads, and I didn't have a website. I didn't have social media except for Facebook. I had a PDF with my services.
Let's just stop there for a second, because I think this is just so incredible. So many people come to me and they're like, right, I need this, this, and this, and this, and I've got all these things to do. So what I'm hearing from you is that you're a website designer.
You don't need anything.
Yeah, you're a website designer and a brand designer. But at that stage that you were at right there, you were getting leads and you didn't yet have a website to show them.
Exactly. It's amazing.
So everyone listening, this is just such an amazing illustration of the stories that we sit in that keep us stuck are just stories. They don't have to affect our reality. So what
It's your
happened?
procrastinating brain and your fears trying to stop you.
Yeah. So then you shared that you've got this offer. You had a PDF, which, what was the PDF like? Did you design that? Was that?
The PDF had some pages talking about the services, like very briefly, and a small portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
But what really got people like reaching out to me was a simple post in some Facebook groups with a few images of what I do.
Yeah, so people could see.
That's it.
People could see you were great at what you did because you had examples of your work. So it wasn't like me popping up and going, hey everyone, I'm offering brand design. Like, you had something to show. Obviously you used messaging that we talked about, etc. You and your goals, and then you started to get leads coming through. So how quickly was it that you signed your first client? And I remember you putting it in the group, and like everyone was like celebrating. We were all celebrating when you'd got your first client. So what was that like when you had that lead come through, and then you actually, what was it like when you actually had that person say, yes, I'm in?
I did some crazy chicken dance in my living room. My son was looking.
I think we've all done that.
Was looking at me like, oh God, now she's cuckoo now. I swear to God, a 1-year-old was judging me. He was completely judging me. I did the chicken dance. I admit it. And then I called my mom and my partner, and I shared on the acceleration group, the accelerator group, and it was amazing. It was amazing, and especially because the client booked a VIP design day. And well, everything was like so perfect with that client, in fact, because she saw my post, she texted me, so she has more information about the VIP day, and I did something that I really faced my fears. She is a YouTuber, so I was like, I'm going to make a video.
So cool.
You know, I'm shy. I don't speak English. It's not my first language. I hate my accent, and I always forget words and everything, because then I started to get nervous and all of that. And I just like made a video. Let's go. So cool. And I sent it to her, and she was like, okay, perfect. That sounds incredible. How can we book for day X? And I'm like, okay. And then I was super afraid, because I was like, oh, she this might be a trick or something. So I'm going to say like, okay, so to book the day, I would ask for like 50% of the fee, so I can like schedule and book that day and block that day for you. And she sent me a voice message saying, yeah, I'm happy to pay it in full right now. And I chicken danced again.
Amazing. Even just you sharing your story now, welling up, because it's just the journey, isn't it? It's just like when a business takes off like this, it's just like, it's such a beautiful experience, isn't it? It's just like when you get paid for something you love to do. It's just like, I literally am crying, because and obviously I know this, but seeing you share it and your energy and seeing you, it's just like, bloody hell, like how fucking awesome is this? So proud of you.
I think when you really focus and you set up your mind, the energy just shifts. My therapist for months, she was saying what you say, in fact, that where you focus what you focus expands.
Yeah, exactly. There's two things I say. One is where focus goes, energy flows, and also what you focus on expands. A very similar saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she would say that to me like often, so often. And also that you have to unblock the energy. And this might sound like super woo-woo, but it's not.
It's so true.
You have to focus in really what you want. And it's like, if you focus on the negative, you're going to only see negative. And if you focus on the positive, things start to move. And
yeah, so I think that and when you decided to join the Accelerator, like when you decided to have that call with me, when you decided to join the Accelerator, you were focusing on what I've heard from you, and you tell me if this feels true, is like what you were focusing on is it going really well. Like your dad was like, oh, I'm not sure, but you were like, no, I really think this person can help me. So like you realized and you focused on that being your reality too, like it going really well.
Exactly. Yeah.
So obviously you've just shared that you signed that client and she was like, I'm paying in full. You've got other leads. Like first month that you've been inside, how's that look for you financially in terms you've made that investment? Have you made the money back from the first investment?
I tripled it.
Tripled it. You've already tripled.
No, more. More than tripled it. It's amazing. You know, with the first client, I actually earned more than what I earned in any given moment in my life, actually, in corporate. Yeah, but we don't pay very well, people here in Portugal, and not even in my experience in Paris or Italy. I did not receive that crazy amount of money. Whole month in corporate was 714 euros, I think. Yeah,
the whole month, 714 for the whole month.
Mm-hmm.
And you earn more than that in one day. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, amazing. That's absolutely
hence
incredible.
The chicken dance.
And your first client as well within 2 weeks of joining the Accelerator.
Yeah, it was amazing. And I was like, oh God, I cannot believe this. And then a few days later, I had another client. So I think it was not even a week after. So in 3 weeks, I had made 1,500 euros.
Amazing. Incredible.
Never in my life. Like, honestly, if I continue to work corporate, it would take me like a crazy amount of time to reach this level.
So you literally made double the amount you make in corporate in literally 3 weeks.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you literally are just at the very beginning. So you've literally just designed your own website yesterday. Is that right? Was it yesterday?
And it's not even finished.
Yes, this is amazing. So what would you say to ladies, if you could speak to the old version of Sofia, who 6 weeks ago was like, I'm just so lost, I'm frustrated, I'm second guessing myself, I really want to have a successful business, but it's not working. But that old version of you that didn't have the money, that was also afraid, what would you say to those listeners now that are listening to this and just finding you so inspiring? What would you say to them about investing in themselves?
Just go for it. Go for it. And you have to face your fears in order to actually, how would you say it, like in order to really get to the juicy part of life. And if you don't face your fears, and you're just going, your life is going to stay pretty much so boring.
Have a magical life instead of a mer life. You have to, because I know that's your mer to magical. That's your kind of what you do for your clients with their branding. So it's that's so true. Like if you don't take risks, if you don't face your fears, then you're just settling, aren't you? You have to make conscious decisions. And
Exactly.
I think something that really I kind of really think is important for me to say, because obviously I am in early bird for the Accelerator, we've just opened the doors, is that it isn't a case, and you tell me what comes up for you here, so Sophia as well, is like, it's not a case of you decide to face your fears once and that's it, it's going to be an easy ride. It's realizing that that comes up again and again, and as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we need to decide again and again and again and again and again. Like, it is a never-ending commitment to making that decision, to decide.
An onion. You'll just like go and you keep on taking these layers, because when you think you overcome something that scared you, you're going to face another thing that's going to try, and we need fear in our lives. We need it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't face your fears, and there's a lot, and they're like one on top of the other, and you have fears you never imagined that are conditioning your life and your business and your journey of self-development. I lost myself. I lost myself. What I was saying.
You have, it's like peeling an onion, and you have fears and self-development, and you have to, you were saying about decisions and
if you if you have a dream that, I think this is a quote, I'm going to mess it up, of course, but if you have a dream, and that dream doesn't like scare you a little bit, it's not going to take you out of your comfort zone. So you really have to face your fears, and it's going to happen again and again, because at first, in my case, at first I was afraid of asking for what I was worth. And when I faced that fear and like, okay, this is my price, my fee, another fear showed up, and I was questioning, like, how will I approach? I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not good enough, and I will not be able to tell my clients my fee. And then you have to work on, yes, you are good enough. This is the proof that you are good enough. And you do the exercises. I think I went over like 2 notebooks already. Which is amazing, because I really love the stationery.
Yeah, me too.
I really love it. And then I was like, okay, I'm actually worth it. I have all this experience within me. And so now it's another fear. And when you go over that fear, there's another fear. And
yeah,
it's how you go, like step by step, you're going to face fears. And in each step, you're going to learn that you're amazing and incredible, and you can do it.
Can do anything. I actually watched, have you seen on Netflix Half Time with Jennifer Lopez yet?
No, not yet.
Do you have Netflix?
Yes, I do.
So they on the 14th of June they released Half Time, which is all about her career so far, what she achieved. And she said that for such a long period of her life she didn't feel good enough, but when you look at what she was doing while she didn't feel good enough, it was incredible. Like, everyone was like, wow, Jennifer Lopez is amazing, but she didn't feel good enough. And it's just to sort of say that what, you know, every single person on the planet who's doing the things that we want to do at whatever level still has those fears.
For a long time, I always try to live a little bit outside, like a little small foot outside of my comfort zone. And people would tell me like, oh, you're so brave. And my answer was always like, I'm scared. I do it, but I do it scared. You're only brave when you have fears. Because if you don't have fears, you're not brave.
Yes.
You need the fear to be brave.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you so much.
I myself a little, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know that you will have inspired so many women today. So thank you for being you. Thank you for being so honest and sharing your journey. And I know that anyone listening to this is going to just go and find you now, because you've just got such a beautiful heart, such a beautiful energy, and they're going to just be cheering you on, wanting to work with you. So how can the ladies find you on social media? How can they get in contact with you and find out more about how you can help them with their brand shining online, really standing out and getting noticed, so they can grow their businesses and sign more clients?
Well, on my website, www.sofiadarling.com.
Brilliant, thank you.
Facebook and Instagram, even if Instagram is ghost town right now, it doesn't have like any posts, but I'm there. I swear I'm there. I am Sofia Darling.
And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited to continue supporting you in the Accelerator. I just know that you're going to just make the most incredible things happen, and this is just the beginning.
Thank you, Claire. It's really amazing. I never saw myself as inspiring or anything. I'm just like regular, timid, extra shy girl. But yeah, you can do it, even if you're regular, timid, and extra shy.